Hi fans, I'm the PC Expert Amateur and we're doing the 19th episode of the airflow and pressure differential comparison of 120 millimeter fans. Today we've got the SilverStone Air Penetrator 120i Pro, the Teucer T30, which looks a lot like the Fantex T30, but they're not trying to claim it's the Fantex T30, and it doesn't have a speed switch like the Fantex T30. The ID Cooling AF125W, the Gui-and-Jing, which is the GAJDM12025B, which is just a 2-pin fan. It was not actually the fan I ordered. I got twice in a row from my donor. I got 2 Gui-and-Jing fans that were not what I ordered. And finally, the PcCooler P120 Pro, which is in both black or white. So let's just remember that this is my anemometer, it measures airflow, and unfortunately it doesn't have enough decimal points in the area for me to make sure this is perfectly accurate. I calibrated it against the Noctua AF 12 by 25 and AF A 12 by 25, and it's accurate if it's in that area, but not accurate overall. So it's not that it's inconsistent in its measurement, but that because the accuracy is not enough to enough decimal points, the higher the airflow gets, the more distorted the numbers get. But it's consistently distorted from one fan to the next. Therefore, the ranking is correct. It's just the numbers are not correct. So there's that. And I made a couple of changes. If you haven't watched the last couple of episodes, I made a change to the organization for the final chart. And I'm also no longer doing big charts as static images, but rather I'm scrolling through so you can see where everything is. So I'm going to put on screen the 5 fans that I've got, and I want you to choose which one you think will have the best airflow and which one you think will have the best pressure differential. Let's go ahead and do that now. And there you go. So we can do Gui-and-Jing 15. That wasn't actually the published numbers. 15.3.6. I filled that in because that was what I got for measurements at the time. You can see the maximum I got when I redid it was 1606.8. PcCooler 1900 instead of 1850. The Teucer 1940 instead of 2150. It's running slower than would be ideal. The ID Cooling is running at 2160 instead of 2000, and the SilverStone 2180 instead of 2000. So make your list, put it in the comments. Let's see what happens. Please don't forget, I'm not using cubic feet per minute. I'm using cubic meters per hour. And the Gui-and-Jing came out for airflow at 144. The SilverStone 120i Pro came out at 161.4. The Teucer came out at 194.2. The ID Cooling came out at 209.4, and the PcCooler came out at 214.2. So did you get that right? If you didn't, that's okay. I mean, this isn't like a test or anything like this. You don't have to get the answers right. It's just a fun little thing we can do. Well, maybe fun for some people, not everybody. All right, and finally, for the pressure differential, we have the Gui-and-Jing at 57, the Teucer at 62, the SilverStone at 63, ID Cooling 67, and the PcCooler at 72. It's not a really big spread. I actually had anticipated a larger spread, but well, that's what it is. So now let's take a look at the overall list. Okay, so starting with the Kingwin, which is the weakest in terms of RPMs. At the top of our list, going down, the Gui-and-Jing is in the second quartile with the PcCooler, surprisingly, the Teucer, and finally the ID Cooling and SilverStone are pretty much neck and neck. So let's take a look at pressure differential. And again, we see that the Gui-and-Jing is in the second quartile, but very close to the third quartile, whereas the Teucer SilverStone ID cooling and PcCooler, I think maybe Teucer's in the third quartile, but the other three appear to be in the fourth quartile. You can see that for pressure differential, it's mostly higher end, and these are all newer fans. So I guess we shouldn't be too surprised. The Gui-and-Jing is a new, I believe that they actually make fans, and now they're also selling fans. At least that's what they told me. And now for airflow, we can see that the Gui-and-Jing is back in the first quartile clearly, and then the SilverStone is in the second quartile, the Teucer's in the third, and the ID cooling and PcCooler are in the fourth quartile for airflow. So they're doing pretty good. And let's go ahead and look at the overview now. And here we go. So if we think about this, you can see that the Gui-and-Jing has, despite having 1600 RPM, there are fans with less RPMs than that have the same airflow and similar pressure differential, although most of them, well, no, I shouldn't say most of them. It's pretty wild how much difference there is there. And SilverStone, very high RPMs, not so high airflow, but pretty high, not really high, fairly high pressure differential. And the Teucer, pretty high RPMs, fairly high airflow, and about the same pressure differential as the SilverStone, whereas the ID cooling both are the same in terms of ID cooling and PcCooler, that is, are very similar in terms of RPM, and also very close in terms of airflow, and also close in terms of pressure differential. So yeah, that hopefully has given you some ideas about the fans that are, keep in mind airflow is a very important factor, but especially if you're using it for an exhaust fan. So if it's got high airflow, it's a great exhaust fan. If it's got low pressure and static pressure, not pressure differential, then it's not a good intake fan. If it's got both, then it's a hybrid. It can do both jobs. So you just you have to consider where you're going to put it. High static pressure, not so high, not so good on the airflow, it goes on intake. If it's got low static pressure, high airflow, it goes on exhaust. So we have some nice choices here. The list just keeps on growing. I'm trying to get these out every day, so we can get all done with the 500 or so fans we've got. Well, I've got more now, but I've got more that are on the way from my donor, thankfully. But that's very random. Sometimes I don't put any in a week, sometimes I do several. It's really hard to predict what I'll find. So, any questions, comments below? Thanks so much. I hope that you found the results interesting and helpful for you.
I need to ask for your help. Things have been challenging. Whose life hasn't been challenging lately? So if you can please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications, that would be really, really super. Also, if you'd like to help me financially and you can't afford to, you can do a super thanks on my Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, or you can become a member there. Or if you prefer, you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there instead. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Bleeping Computer for their support of my channel. If you need resources for computers, for getting rid of malware and learning about cybersecurity and stuff, Bleeping Computer, BLEEPING computer.com is a great resource. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.